like to thank Silka from Schlegel & Partners earlier today for outlining some of the key features that are driving our industry, because there's a lot of overlap there. And when we're looking at this, these are trends in things like vehicle customization, trends in making our products more eco-friendly and sustainable, enhancing the durability of our products and the functionality of our products. And the things I'm going to show you today are things that either we have in active development or we see as trends in the marketplace. So looking at vehicle customization, from people own, we see a strong trend towards making them customizable or even having interchangeable trim, or for used vehicles, making them look new again. And a good example of that was actually unveiled just last month at the Geneva Auto Show by Fiat, their Cento Venti concept, pardon my Italian, where this EV is going to be offered with 4 different roof combinations, bumper combinations, wheels, wraps, and some interlocking mounting system in the instrument panel to allow the individual who's buying the car to customize it to their own tastes. When we look at bespoke vehicles, these are cars that are created one-offs for an individual. And not all of us are individuals that can buy our own one-off car, but if you're lucky enough to do so, we have the ability to support an individual color, for example, or design of a material for one car. So those are trends in trying to make the aesthetics of the vehicle to their favor. Going to the shared ride concept, was mentioned earlier, Uber is very popular. We look at that in the United States and we see a downward trend in people actually getting their driver's licenses. So it's clear that people aren't going to want to own their own cars in the future. So as an example here, this Moya concept from Volkswagen is actually running now. If you've got a chance to go hike down to Hanover or Hamburg, and you can call up on your smartphone a ride with Moya, they'll pick you up wherever you designate, take you on your ride. And in these applications, we're looking for interior trim components that are somewhere in between mass transit, like airplanes, buses, trains, that type of performance and functionality, versus an individual personally owned vehicle. People are going to have a higher expectation level for the comfort and the durability of these products, and how easy they are to clean and how easy they are to update and refresh. Looking at the eco-friendly or sustainable part of our developments, really focusing on DWR finishes, which have traditionally been water-based, or some of our lacquer coatings that Sam mentioned for our synthetic leathers and other products which have been heavily solvent-based. We're looking to eliminate those solvents, get rid of things like NNP or other aromatic hydrocarbons like BTX, and this is all in the spirit of reducing VOC levels inside the cabin, where in a lot of cases we're tasked to getting these levels down to a sub-ppm when viewed. Another element of our sustainable development has been in the area of infrared reflecting pigments. So vehicle components that, instead of using carbon black, which absorbs a lot of infrared energy from the sun, replace that with pigments that reflect that light, keep the vehicle cabin cooler, and reduce the workload on the AC system. Looking at durability from the standpoint of our convertible car top products, as you'll see here in this picture on the bottom, this is a pretty well-worn convertible top where the key crease points when it folds down into the back of the car tend to collect dirt, and it's just not aesthetically pleasing, and it compromises the lifespan of the top. So giving our current status here, you can see these are creased samples where we're showing how the material after the test is creased and then given some time to recover, how we've advanced, albeit marginally so far, and in a greater fashion moving forward by using special finishes and coatings, extrusion coatings on our fabrics to improve the crease resistance and allow that crease to recover and not look as aesthetically unpleasing. From the standpoint of easy clean or self-cleaning surfaces, all joking aside, New York City taxis are pretty gross, as are taxis pretty much anywhere else in the world. And nobody wants to come into this type of situation when they're hopping in a vehicle. So we're going beyond the traditional requirements of having fabrics and coatings on our products that are stain resistant from denim jeans or from other chemicals, and moving towards coatings that can either clean themselves through photocatalytic action, or coatings that can have a antimicrobial property that's rechargeable. It's not just use it once and it's gone. It can be replenished. And the ultimate goal here is, especially with shared rides, to give consumers confidence that when they're jumping into a vehicle to go for a ride, that they're they're not going to sit down in something they really want to sit in. Switching gears to functionality, one of the biggest areas that we've been working on recently is in the area of lighting and introducing a flexible circuitry and lighting feature to our convertible car top and other types of textiles. And this can be from the standpoint of creating an illumination for an aesthetic effect, or even creating some functionality from ambient lighting inside the car so you can read a map or see something in the trunk. So this has really been focused on developing flexible circuitry, flexible LED membranes, and encapsulant and adhesive films to bond these assemblies together. And I'll run the movie here. Basically, this is a convertible car top product where we have a battery pack on the left that we flip on, create a pretty powerful light that inside of a car would be help you read, and it's still very flexible and drapeable. There's all kinds of functions beyond automotive for this type of application as well. Also in the area of functionality, heating. Car seats have been an area where there's been a lot of work in the past done on resistant wire systems to heat car seats. What we're working on here is a particular problem for EVs, electric vehicles in the future, where there's no waste heat generated by the engine that's used to heat the cabin. So in electric vehicles, they're just not easy to heat up. So what we're looking at is a carbon nanotube product that can be produced in a sheet or a web form and laminating it onto our traditional coated fabrics or moldable products. And then that could be integrated into trim panels or heated seats, where this carbon nanotube, once current is applied, heats up and emits energy in the far infrared spectrum that our body naturally absorbs quite easily, and it warms us up. So it's a direct form of heating inside the vehicle. Also, from the functionality point of view, we're doing a lot of work in the area of capacitive textiles, where the objective is to change the control surfaces inside of vehicles. Typically, that's in the form of buttons and sliders and dials today. What we're trying to do, and these are other people's pictures and concepts here, and even a patent application made by Apple, but we're looking at the potential for using conductive yarns that are either knit or woven into a textile structure, and it can either be the surface that you touch or a substrate below the film that we apply onto the surface, that depending on the resistivity that the system detects, it knows where you're touching the surface of the material. And you can use this in a tap functionality, a slider functionality. You can create a lot of different motions to control the surfaces inside of the car. And then lastly, there has been some work done in flexible photovoltaics. People are talking about integrating those as covering surfaces on the outside of vehicles. This can naturally be applied on coated fabrics as well, laminating flexible PV modules onto coated fabrics. There's also been some work done on integration of PV coatings into fiber and yarn structures that are directly on the surface of the textile, printed on. Again, in most cases, we're not seeing the potential for these energy harvesting systems to actually charge the battery, but it could give you the opportunity to power other functions and processes inside the car so that the battery doesn't get drained. So things like recirculation fans for keeping the car cool in the summertime. So with that, just want to say thank you, and I look forward to your questions later on.